Hey folks, welcome. Let's see here. I'm going to screw this up. Up. Now I got it. There we go. Welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us. That's Karen in the middle and Beth on the
Hi.
side. Beth on the side. Beth wins the T-shirt of the day award right there. Periodic table of coffee. Yep. The competition's over. That's it. It's over. Done. Big prize right there.
Coffee.
Yep.
It's good. Important.
All right. So before we get going with Karen, Sunday now at 2:00. Sunday at 2:00, we're with Karen Dudzinski and starting Dawn to Dusk, and so that'll be fun. She's getting some models together and some other things. Going to show us spots where we need to pay extra attention, give us some tips, so on and so forth. So 2:00 right here on the YouTube channel will be Karen Dudzinski and Dawn to Dusk, and we'll be getting that started. Because Beth and I got nothing else to stitch. What, you're all caught up? I know I am. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm done with. Yeah. No, nothing.
Yeah, I finished this afternoon, and so it's just time to kill till Sunday. Yeah. Sunday's podcast guest is Nicola Jarvis. Do not miss the talk with Nicola Jarvis. She will energize you. Wow, it was a ride. It was a great time. And then look at her stuff and go to her website because her embroidery work will just knock you over. Really good. Next Wednesday now, remember, next Wednesday, Karen, I got to get that right. Karen Hedberg, who teaches punch needle for Sassy Jacks. Next Wednesday night, 8:00, she's going to teach me how to do punch needle so you can learn along with me. And this is the one we're doing here, the Little House Needleworks Bee Garden. So that's the one she's doing. And that's the one, if you order the kit from Sassy Jacks, that's what you'll get. Classic Colorworks threads, the whole bit. So I'm armed and dangerous. I got all my stuff from Kim today, and that's what we'll be doing on Wednesday night. So the goal there is to give you all the basics of punch needle and give you a resource to go back to so you can order your kit if you haven't already from Sassy Jacks. They're available at the website. You can order them now. It's just getting them to you because if you read the news, of course, the mail has decided to just quit working all the way around. So when you get that, you'll have a resource from the show to get yourself started. So, and Kim has a kit all put together, all the stuff you need, all lined up. I was going to show you the rest of it, but I left it upstairs, so you can't. Too bad. So that's what that deal is. Now, I put up this afternoon the videos for Royal Garden. So I put up, I think there's 5 videos, our starting day, our kickoff day one, and then the crescent one, and then Beth showing the waffle stitch, and then the new one, the walnetto stitch that Debbie put together. So they're all up on the WeTalkFiber.com. They're all up there, and I pinned it at the top, and I just put like a sentence, and then I put continue reading. You click on that link, and that's where all the videos are at. Otherwise, all those videos would have covered the whole homepage, and it would have all the other things would have been way down. So you just click on that, and you'll see all the videos. So there gives you a central place for reference place for those things. And if you're feeling like you're far behind, and that you're not getting anywhere, and Beth's posting all the time and showing her progress, I will show you my progress. All right? That's where I'm at. So if you're feeling like you're really dragging behind, that's where I'm at. All right?
You're doing good, Gary. Doing good.
Don't patronize me, Beth. I haven't touched that thing in days. Tonight. And and then you show off last night. You're moving on to, yeah. Yours is really beautiful. Oh, I was going to ask you, sorry, Karen, just deal with this. You mentioned you're ironing the white thread.
It's pink, but yeah,
pink,
the neon rings.
Yeah.
I iron it to get the kinks out, and it lays so much better.
Oh,
I
really?
didn't used to. I didn't used to, but I do a, you know, what you used to do your hair. You
Well,
take
when I had it, I still didn't, but whatever. Yes.
you take it and you got your thread, and then it clips it, and and don't tug it, just flatten it out, and it takes all those little kinks out. It's wonderful.
And it makes it stitch better too, huh?
Yes, much better, much
Okay.
less fussing with it.
Okay. Hmm. And that's just a cheap little hair straightener iron from Walgreens or something.
Right, right. And I know they sell fancy ones that are small from stitching stores, but my daughter had one. I cleaned it off, and I'm using that one because she's not straightening her hair anymore. So
Oh,
she used
okay.
it like twice, and I'm like,
Give me that thing.
I want it back.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna have to try that because I've never tried that. I've always just stitched it and pulled it tight enough so that the creases went away. But
No, no, it makes it much easier.
okay, because if it makes it easier, then that's worth it to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll now I get to now I get to be a guy buying a hair straightener. Okay, great.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah, super.
Online.
I'm buying this for my wife. Okay, so the videos are all up there. So if you need help, and Beth and I have talked about schedules. We're going to do another live stitch here coming up. I just had a week I couldn't fit one in, and so we'll get that in real soon here in the next few days. Because Beth's got nothing to do. So yeah,
Sitting around twiddling my thumbs.
Right. Wednesday's winners. The Wing of the Crow books from Michelle Gaida. Wing of the Crow books. Donna Francis. Donna, that's 2 in a row. That's 2 wins in a row for you. You're cut off. She won. I think she won just the previous drawing too. You know, what are you going to do? She came up and I said, "Wait, didn't she just win?" Yeah. So Donna Francis won, and Karen May. So each of those a book, and I sent those on Wednesday to Michelle, so I wouldn't be surprised if they're already in the mail to you. And then beginner kits went to Merlene Bridges and Barbara DeViez, Villez, Barbara DeViez. So your beginner kits, I'm sure Michelle has sent them long ago, and they'll be winging their way to you through the mail system. Wait, I can't say that, can I? Winging through the mail system. They're getting there. All right, now tonight's drawings. Betty Howe is moving and downsizing, and we're all going to get to go through that someday. Moving and downsizing. The hardest part's going to be the stash. Yeah. So Betty sent me a bunch of stuff to give away. So we're going to give away 5 things tonight, and they're probably not officially primitive, but they all look primitive to me. So that's going to be our subject line. So your email, Gary@WeTalkFiber.com, is right up there at the top. Right. Oh, I can't. Karen's in the way, but right up there at the top. Yeah. And your subject line is primitive. Subject line is primitive, and that's subject without the S on the end. Sorry. So 5 of them. Now remember, all you people who listen to this afterwards, this is only for people who watch the live show. Sorry. Got to be a benefit for watching the live show. So you send an email, subject line primitive, and please just put the word primitive. Don't put anything else. Then it goes into my smart mailbox. Then they're all there after the show. I draw them, and I'm done. Name and address in the body of the email. So what you're gonna be in the drawing for is from Heartstring Primitives, original sampler patterns 1827 Fracture Bird and Wedding Heart Fracture. That one there. Sorry about the lighting, but that one there. So that's one. And then this is interesting. Inventory Needlework Pillow from Design Corner. So that's a different one. That's another one. This one I liked. I almost kept it. But no, in the spirit of giving it away. Strawberry Blonde Carriage House Samplings. That one.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, almost just let that slide off the table into my stash. But no, I'm going to behave. This one, Sandra Sullivan, Cinnamon Sticks, Christmas XX, Elegant Chris Kringle, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. But anyway, it's a pillow. And the cloth is in here. You get the cloth with it. She had the cloth in the deal. So there's that one. And then the other one is just a real nice, I like this sampler because of the buttons on there. You see the buttons in the flower pot there.
Oh,
So
okay,
yeah, so those 5. So get your emails in. Primitive is the subject line, and we'll have I'll do the drawing right after the show. And so if you're watching the show, you get to enter. Oh, and then I got I got an order from Kim today, and I'm going to play with it. But already I'm looking at. She started carrying the Cosmos. This way. Cosmos threads. So she has the full line of Cosmos threads if I could get them in the thing. So I said send me 4 skeins. I just want to see what they stitch like. They feel and look very much like DMC. You know how you can pick it up and you can kind of tell. And these are nice colors too. So I'm going to play with that.
To see how they stitch. I'll be curious.
That's why I wanted them. Yep, I want to see what they stitch like. So I'm going to get Hannah Longstreth out and go on the side and see what they look like on 40 count, 45 or whatever we're doing. I don't know. So anyway, Kim has the full line of this if you're interested. But the color she sent, very nice. One of them variegated. This one's variegated. Yeah, nice. She's excited about it, and I said, hey, send me some. I want to see. So there we go. That's the announcements. We're all done. That's it. Okay, Karen. Beth, I'm taking you off the screen. Beth, I'm taking you off the screen. You're done. I'm sick of looking at your coffee T-shirt, so go away. Oh, jeez.
Fine.
All right. Okay, you're gone. So, Karen, all right, we established while we were waiting for the show to start, behind you, covered up by your head, are ribbons.
Yes.
So
they are.
Beth is envious, so tell us.
They are 3 ribbons that I won at Woodlawn. Not last year, but the previous 2 years to that. Some of the pictures that I sent you will be the winners, the pieces that I won for. One of them was I took a first place. The other 2 were second place.
Okay, now when you win, do they call you, email you? How do you find out?
You kind of find out when you go see the show.
Oh, so what? Yeah. And actually, that must be an incredible experience.
Oh, it is. I was thrilled to death. You can't imagine how thrilled I was. I was fortunate in that I entered my pieces through Total Framing in Fairfax, Virginia. Sherry Berkman happens to be a personal friend of mine, so we usually take our pieces down to Sherry, and then she takes them into Woodlawn for us. So she then goes to the show on opening day and kind of makes a list of who won from the entries that she took over. So then she calls us or texts me and say, hey, you won, or oh, nothing this year.
So how many years of trying?
I've entered 2 years and I've won both years.
Okay, you just made a whole bunch of people really jealous now.
Oh.
A whole bunch of people named Beth Ellicott. Yes.
Yes.
I was just totally blown away. I never ever expected it. Never. In fact, my one that won first place in 2017, I said to my friend Barb, just pick one off my wall and that's what I'll enter, because none of them were entered there before.
Oh.
So it doesn't have to be done in the previous year.
Oh.
It can be anything that's never been entered into that show. So, and I just didn't know what I wanted to send that year. So I said, Barb, pick one off the wall. So she picked Long Dogs Do Bears, and that happened to be the one I won first place with.
Oh. So okay, so did any of them? Did you stitch specifically to enter, or were they all just
No, just random. Okay, I stitched this. I'll put it in.
Wow. Impressive. Impressive.
And how many people have toiled away to get one lined up for?
Yeah, it was dumb luck. That's all I can
Okay,
say.
no, it's what we call talent. You just got to enter. Yeah. So
Yeah.
stitching forever, I gather.
Forever. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I started stitching when I was 21.
Okay.
I was just out of nursing school. I was in my first job at a psychiatric hospital, local. And one of the nursing assistants came in with some 22 count hardanger fabric and was cross stitching on it. And she said, you really need to try this. So I said, okay. I live the next county to Lancaster County in Pennsylvania.
Uh huh.
And Ephrata is in Lancaster County, and there's a place called the Ephrata Cloisters. And at that point, that's the only place we knew where we could get this fabric. So she picked some up for me, brought it into work. I had a Good Housekeeping magazine that had 4 little pictures in it of one for each season of the year.
Uh huh.
And that's what I started.
That's what you
over
started.
one
Ooh.
with one strand of floss because I was a novice and knew no better.
Way to take the easy route. Good job.
I might as well, if you're going to do it, you might as well go big.
Yeah.
What can I say?
And,
So that was my start, and I've been stitching ever since.
yeah. New job as a nurse. Give you an escape? Did that give you kind of a mental escape?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
After a long day, come home and just let your mind unwind. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So what are your samplers? Your favorite thing? What are is it all cross stitch? Do you try other techniques?
Well, pretty much. I've done samplers for quite some time, and I kind of got samplered out. So now I'm doing. Well, as we said in the pre-show, I have 40 samplers hanging in my living room, and there's 2 hanging over here in the snow. There's 4 over here in my sun porch with me.
So that's the spillover room then.
That's the spillover room. And another picture that I have, we'll talk about the rest of the spillover.
Okay.
But I started out like everybody else. I would stitch the Precious Moments stuff or the Dale Burdette stuff back in the day. And, supplies and charts were hard to find back in the 70s. At least I had a hard time finding them. There wasn't that much out there. Not like there is today. Now you can basically find anything you want.
Yeah.
But back then things were hard to find, and I just progressed along the way. I learned to do hardanger embroidery. I spent about between 10 and 15 years doing nothing but hardanger.
Oh.
Where I've made some a lot of doilies. I made a lot of gifts. I did a lot of table centers for like on your dining room table and what have you.
Right. And
then after that I got tired of that. So then it was back to cross stitching again.
So we do a technique to burnout then is the
Yep. Until
Okay.
you just get so tired of it, you need to switch to something else.
Okay. But
Right.
through it all, cross stitch has just been the staple.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's my first love. That's my first love.
Yeah.
I mean, I do specialty stitches. I can do specialty stitches, but they aren't my preference.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
That's that's what I was talking. Oh, I was talking to somebody today and doing a podcast, and we got into that discussion about how it's kind of the beauty of this hobby is you can find really anybody can find what they really enjoy, and you get a little burnout. There's plenty of other things to try, but you can find that one thing, whether it's cross stitch or needlepoint or whatever, and and go for a long time without running out of stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, like I said, it's been close to just under 50 years that I'm stitching.
So retired now?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Now what's that like? What's that like? No.
It's wonderful. It was the best decision I ever made.
Now, do you so does when you retired, was it stitch all day or stitch a lot, and then it kind of tapered off and found some happy medium, or did that finally release you and you just keep?
I stitch constantly.
Oh, okay.
All the time. And I have not got tired of it.
Yeah.
And I've been retired since I'm 61 and a half.
Yeah.
I retired a little early because I said, I just can't do this. I was an assistant director of nursing, and I said, I just had enough.
Yeah.
I can't do it anymore. And I retired a little early, and I have just been stitching my heart out ever since.
Hey,
Good
great.
for you.
Yep. Great for you is right. Yep. That's right. Yeah. Fantastic. Yep. So what are you working on at the moment? Oh,
Right
yeah.
now,
And are you a monogamous stitcher or multiple projects?
Well, I'm not going to tell you how many things I have started.
Okay.
But right now, I'm trying very hard to focus on Stitcher's Retreat, Heaven and Earth design, because it's so close to being finished. I think I just hit 77%. So I don't have far to go to finish. I'd like to have it finished this year. That's the delusional goal.
Okay. Okay.
But the real goal is by my birthday next year.
Okay.
So my birthday is the 4th of July. So by the 4th of July next year, I hope to have it done.
See, that's what fascinates me about those full coverage things. 77% done, and effectively just short of another year, you're hoping to have it done. Wow.
Yes. I still have 100,000 stitches, 110,000 stitches to go.
But who's counting?
Who's counting?
Yeah.
So my question is, how many stitches do you think you get in a day?
I average between 500 and 800.
Okay.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Man.
Yeah. It's my life.
Well,
I joke and say my husband and I are Mr. and Mrs. No Life.
now, does
he
he?
reads all day, I stitch all day.
What does he do all day?
He reads all day.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, does he have a hobby too, or does he just?
He reads all the time. He's always on his Kindle.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, yep.
That's what he enjoys. So.
Oh, that's great. That's fantastic. Retire and be able to do what you enjoy. That's fantastic. Good for you.
Between that and the grandkids, what more can I say?
Yeah. Yep. Good for you. All right, let's do some pictures then.
Okay.
Here, let me flip over here.
All right. Opal wanted to know: is there a lot of confetti in the piece you're stitching?
There are sections that have a great deal of confetti. But there are also sections that are really pretty easy.
Okay.
You know, they might be only 5 or 6 colors as compared to maybe 10 or 15. You know, and when you're stitching on the diagonal, it makes all of that a whole lot easier.
Right.
Yeah. Opal, we put the full coverage at the end of the pictures as a body so we can talk about it. And you're going to have to get in line behind Beth with questions because she already has like 100 of them.
I already have some.
I saw the list. It'll take an hour.
Oh, you saw them. Bring them on.
Yeah. All right, so let me flip over here to the thing here. And this first one, let me get so I can control it. So this first one now is one of the winners.
Yes, that's Long Dogs, Do Bears. And that's stitched on a 28 count Lugana 1/1. And that's the one that my friend pulled off the wall when I said pick one to take to Woodlawn, and that was my first place winner.
That cracks me up. Now, anybody else would sit down with like 3 and just debate for days about which one to enter. And you tell a friend to grab one and submit it and move on. Okay. All right.
This is not going to win because there's this little piece of something that was floating around in there that the framer missed taking out. And Woodlawn judges are very, very particular about, no ends showing, and, all your ends have to be hidden. You can't have any long carries in your fabric, and if there's cat hair or dog hair or stuff on it, it's like that's a no-no. And geez, I wouldn't have given it anything, and it comes home with a first place. What can I say?
It's absolutely beautiful. And the DMC or some silk?
DMC 500.
It's gorgeous.
So about how big was it? Do you remember? Approximately. Inches wise, not stitches.
Maybe about 12 by 15 at best.
Okay, over 1.
28. Yeah, so it's not huge.
Okay, 12 by 15, and it's over 1, and it's not huge. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Beth. Yeah. Yeah, Beth. Beautiful.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Let's try the next one here. Now, this one we just have a small picture, so.
Yes, and I apologize. I wish I had a bigger picture than that, but that one has a story. I worked in a long-term care facility when I was working, and our administrator, CEO, developed ovarian cancer, and she passed away. And I had a dream after that, and I woke up with this uncontrollable urge that I had to stitch something in her memory.
Uh-huh.
So this is an original design.
Oh.
This is my own design. It has her name, her picture, and it's dedicated to all her years of service at, it was, the name of the place was Lebanon Valley Brethren Home. And then the years that she was the administrator there. And then the bottom part, she loved flowers. So that's why there's some hardanger in there to represent her flower garden. And then the very bottom represents an angel.
Oh.
And the whole time that I was stitching it, I didn't chart any of it out ahead of time. I just stitched, and I felt like she was sitting on my shoulder telling me what to do, what she wanted in this picture. And that's how I picked the colors and how I decided what I was going to put where. So It was just this uncontrollable need to want to do something. It hangs to this day in their community center, which is now named after her.
Wow.
Very nice.
Wow. Now, is the picture stitched too?
No, the picture is a photograph, but what I did is I covered the outline around the picture is a hardanger edge.
Oh, okay. That's what I wondered. I thought,
frames
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
That frames it.
Wow.
That is amazing.
Yeah. If that wouldn't be hanging in the nursing home yet, I would have put that in Woodlawn.
Yeah.
But I couldn't take it out of the home, so.
Right. Yeah. Oh, it's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah. So that's one of my pride and joys.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
That's one I am very, very proud of.
Without a doubt. Did I see, Beth, did I see somebody asking about what Woodlawn is?
Yes, I was just going to say,
Oh,
Jennifer.
yeah. I'm sorry. I'll let you do your job, Beth. I'm out.
I didn't want to interrupt because that's such a beautiful piece. I wanted to
Yeah.
explain it. Yeah, so that question is, what is Woodlawn?
Woodlawn is an estate in Alexandria, Virginia. And I believe, if I remember it correctly, because I always get this history bollock stuff, I believe it was the niece of George Washington that lived there. And the local Embroiderers Guild, Nellie's Needlers, sponsors this needlework show every year. And it runs for the entire month of March, although this year it happened to be canceled.
Yeah.
I think they might have opened it up later, but I'm not sure. I know I didn't go this year. But it's judged by the judges that are certified through the Embroiderers Guild of America. So when you win there, it's a very honorable place to win. It's one of the biggest shows on the East Coast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, is that the? I get them confused. Is that the one where they display things in the rooms?
Yes.
That's the one.
Yes.
Yeah.
You get to walk through the mansion, and each room has certain things in it. Like they have a room that's all Christmas designs, or they have an area that's all samplers. They have an area that's all surface embroidery. So you can enter anything that's done with a one-eyed needle.
That's the criteria. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They have different categories that they place things in.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh.
But it's truly an honor to win something there. And in addition to like your first, second, third, and honorable mention awards, there are higher awards yet that are given.
Uh-huh.
I don't remember all the names of them at the moment, but there are, like, the judges give their award to someone, and there's a best of show award that goes out. So there are higher awards other than like your first, second, and third place.
Yeah, but I think in any of those,
any award there is
amazing.
Is something to be proud of.
That's right.
Definitely.
Yep. Okay. Did we have any more questions about this tribute list? That's so cool. That is so cool how that comes. Those kinds of things come to your head like that. And you just know what to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful design.
Yep.
Yeah. No, thank you. I'm rather proud of it.
Well, you should be. Now this one here, this next one, let's see if I can. We got it on its side. Oh, I got it on its side. What an idiot.
Well, that's because the writing goes the long way.
Oh, it's not on its side. Oh, okay. Ooh.
No, it's a long sampler, but the writing is on the one side. That's that's a birth sampler, or actually a family tree sampler that I did for my grandson when he was born. And I was working on a pattern called ISL 1729, and it's from Historic Stickmeister. I think that's how you say it. The designers are Ute Shear and Dorothy Kandzi. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. But I was working on that sampler at the time, and originally on the side where all the writing is, there was an alphabet and crowns and all kinds of things in there. So I thought, wouldn't it be a good idea to put all of Abe's information on there? So instead of working the chart as the pattern in that area.
Mm-hmm.
In that area, I put his name, when he was born. I think I might have even put how much he weighed. And then I put his parents, their birthdays, their wedding date, and both sets of grandparents, along with their birthdays and their wedding dates,
Yeah.
are all on the side of that. Now, that one took a second place at Woodlawn.
Wow.
That is a nice piece.
It really is, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, you know, when people, I didn't want to make a burst sampler that was baby oriented.
mm-hmm.
I wanted to make something that would, how can I say, that they would enjoy as they got older.
Yeah.
So that it would be passed down in their family. Like, you know, Abe could pass it on to his children. So
Yeah. So not a precious moments birth sampler, but something that, yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
So the
Something
rest of
that
the
could be an heirloom.
Right.
So the rest of the sampler was as charted.
Yes.
You changed that one section. That is very
Yes.
nice.
I just changed that one section. Yeah.
I love the sampler itself. It's really beautiful.
Yeah. They have some beautiful samplers on that site.
What is the site again?
If you just Google Ute, Y-U-T-E, Shear, Scheer, and the site is Historic Stickmeister.de. But if you just Google her name, you will get the links to the site.
Uh-huh.
The only thing is it's all in German. And I think they changed the site since I was there last. It used to be able to select English, but I didn't find that this time. It's all in German. But
What?
it's very, you can get it for U.S. prices, and they ship to the United States
Uh-huh.
if you, under the slow boat to China from the mail.
Yeah, that boat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it really is beautiful. And then particularly up at the top, all those motifs you could just pull out and do single things. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, they would make nice. I could see little pin keeps or pin cushions, and then that one section that looks like right, just that one bottom section as its own little band sampler too.
Yes. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Nooper has it for us. She put it in the comments.
Oh, okay.
Oh, good.
Thanks, Nooper.
Good.
Yeah, thanks, Nooper. Yep. See some of these bands down here. See, I may have to get this to go on because some of those bands would look great on my little banding sampler thing.
Yes.
Yes, they would. They would be wonderful.
Oh, they want you to scroll to the peacock.
Scroll to the peacock. Oh.
The F.
Let me make. I'll get it. I'll get it big and hold it there. Hang on. Ah. There we go.
Okay. Is the stitching of the burst sampler the name stitched in the same orientation as the design or turned on the side? So
the names and the birth dates and all of that are, the X is crossed the same way as the whole sampler, but it's done on its side.
okay, but when the original sampler, was it? Was it turned on its side?
The alphabet was in the same orientation as the information I put in.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kathy wanted to know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It
Oh,
was
so I get it. So
alphabet
you kept with the original design in the orientation of the letters. You just changed the letters. Then.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Right. Right. Yeah, because
right.
if I would have put it the other way, I don't think I could have got everything in. I couldn't have gotten all the information in that I wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It
And
would have
Nooper
looked.
says, okay, go ahead. Sorry, would have looked.
Go ahead.
Well, Nooper says she's causing trouble here. She says there's a sampler, a book by Johann Zivmacher,
Yes.
and that the samplers, it's typical of many of those bands there. So there's a
Yes.
book, Gary, a book. We're not supposed to be buying books, are we?
No, we're not. We're not supposed to
Oh.
buy books. No. No.
And Marga's not on it, is she?
I don't know.
I know she
I don't
is.
know.
I know she is. She's a little applique.
Let's pretend Marga's not here. And
Okay. All right. Yeah.
yeah.
So Nooper's suggesting a book. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. That's beautiful. Really, really beautiful. Yep. Let me get back down so people can see the whole thing here. Wow.
And you stitch it as charted.
Oops.
So I mean,
Yeah.
like whatever size linen. What?
It's on 40 count Italian Graziano linen. The Ricamo, I think that's how you say it, which is no longer available. It happened to be my best favorite linen, and you can't get it anymore.
That's getting to be an issue. Is some of those linens are just going away, and
Yeah.
oh, Margaret showed up. Don't tell her. Don't tell her. Just move
Yeah,
along.
they discontinued this linen several years ago.
Uh-huh.
I wasn't happy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's just as happening with so many of those. The artisans are retiring or dying, and it just goes
Yeah.
away, and it's sad.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them are truly supreme cloths.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and
Yeah. Yeah. That linen is like the best of the best as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
That was my all-time favorite.
yeah, and it gets lost, and we never get it back. Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. All right, next one is another birth sampler.
Yep. That's my granddaughter's birth sampler. And that one, I took, the outside border is from Scarlet Letters, the tablet sampler. And then the inside, of course, at the top, it's all her information, the same as my grandson's.
Mm-hmm.
And then the scene on the bottom portion is taken from Catherine Metcalf, which is also a Scarlet Letter sampler. So I kind of combined two samplers
Mm-hmm.
to come up with that.
So this is actually an original yours. This is clearly yours.
Yes.
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 Well, that border. Wow.
That border was fun to stitch.
The colors are
Cross
gorgeous.
stitch.
All cross stitch, yeah. And
Yeah,
again, I made this because I wanted it to be like Abe, something that they could pass on and keep in the family
Yeah.
and be an heirloom.
Well, and that thinking is so spot on because that's something that's going to get hung in houses for a long time. Yeah.
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 Yeah. And on that one, I even included, her name is Imogen Glenn Risser and her birthday. And I have her parents, and then I also put her brother on there. So it is a true genealogy type
Right.
wording on there.
That's great.
Now they're done having children, so I don't have to make a third one.
All right.
Thank you.
Are the sheep over one?
No, it's all over two.
All over two. Okay.
So when you took that the section with the house and the sheep, was that frame part of that, or did you have to create that? The frame with the sun at the top.
No, that was part of the tablet sampler.
Oh, okay.
And then I just took the part from the Catherine Metcalf sampler that would fit within the area that I had.
Mm-hmm.
I think I moved a couple things around a little bit. So it's not exact to what that sampler was, but I kind of moved things to make it fit.
Right. Well, sure. Why not?
Yeah.
That vine of flowers and leaves is just gorgeous. There's so much
Yeah.
there's so much depth to it. It's just beautifully done.
Mm-hmm.
And the Scarlet Letter has pretty samplers, and that is so neat that you combined two different ones. And that's what I think Jane Smith is saying. To combine, there's some parts that you like of a sampler and you want to combine them. That's excellent.
Yep. Gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah. Take little bits from this one and little bits from that one and put it in to make your own.
Yep. Sure. And look at that. I mean, that's a stunner. Yep. Yep. All right. The next one.
Next one is Dutch Beauty, I believe.
Sounds good to me. I don't know.
One in the middle?
Yeah.
It's 2013 is when you stitched it.
Yeah, that's Dutch Beauty by Perman. And that's also stitched on 40 count Graziano linen. And that one, I changed the colors.
Uh-huh.
Because the original colors, it was too, it looked almost too faded for me. I wanted to darken it up a little bit. So I went a couple shades darker on a lot of the colors so it would show up better.
Mm-hmm.
But that's stitched according to the chart.
Yeah.
Except the fact of the color changes.
Right. So a little darker made it richer looking.
Yes. And then the bottom border, what I did is I centered my name and the date in the middle of the bottom border, and then just made the border come up to my name. So I left that portion of the border off so I could put my name in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to say, that question about where to put your name and whether you should or not, and I mean, you absolutely should, but I think you do a creative job each time of fitting your name in without it detracting from the piece. Because if we go back to this birth sampler, you have it right under the Risser birth sampler. You have it right under the family, but then you do it in a lighter color so it kind of blends in, and yet it's there. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you do a nice job of handling that.
I did the same thing on Abe's sampler I believe it's that section where all the information is. If I remember right, it's at the top right corner.
Yes.
Where I put my name, and I put it lighter there too. So yeah, I don't want it to detract from the piece itself, but I think it is important to sign your work.
Yep.
And to make the work your own.
Yep. No, you just. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Mary wants to know if you stitch in a frame.
Yes. I use Q snaps most of the time. I will also stitch in a hoop. I've tried scroll frames, but I was always a hoop stitcher. So most of the time I use a hoop or a Q snap.
Okay. Sandy P wants to know I think it's for the Dutch Beauty, did you have to buy extra floss or was one skein of each color enough?
That was such a while ago. I honestly don't remember, but I think I bought extra of some colors.
Okay. And then Jane wants to know silk or DMC?
DMC.
Are you strictly a DMC or do you use silk sometimes?
I use silk sometimes. I used a whole lot of hand-dyed fibers by Vicki Clayton for
Oh.
years
Jealous.
until she stopped making them.
Mhm. Mhm. I have one piece done with her stuff. One.
Yes, her silk was absolutely out of this world.
Yeah, I
I
did. It was a
loved it.
needlepoint piece. It was a needlepoint piece, and I ordered the threads in for the piece, and it was wonderful to stitch with.
Yeah,
No more.
good stuff. No more.
No more.
Another disappointment. One of my favorite things taken away.
Oh,
Yep. Okay, a Dutch Beauty. That's beautiful. Yep. All right, now this one, it looks like a quilt. It is a quilt.
It is. hmm
Now,
This is what you do when you run out of wall space.
well, I have to say, when I was ordering the pictures, I put that first because I thought, all right, we'll talk about the quilt and get that out of the way, and then go on to the stitching. And then I looked at the photo. I said, that's not a quilt. That's just not a standard quilt.
No.
So then I had to move it now so that we could talk about stuff and build up to it, because it just stopped me. Like, wait a minute, no, there's more. That's just not your basic quilt. This thing is happening. So yeah.
Well, I ran out of wall space in the living room, needless to say. And I haven't opened my museum yet. So I had all these samplers laying in a drawer. And I was trying to decide, what the world am I going to do with them? Because I don't have space to hang them in the living room anymore. I could fill up this room, but my husband put such nice pine paneling in here. I hate to cover it all up. So a friend of mine, her sister-in-law makes memory quilts. So you give her stuff like t-shirts or whatever, and she will make it into a quilt. So I said, do you think she would take these samplers and make them into a quilt for me?
Mm-hmm.
So I got them all ready, washed, pressed, whatever, and had them rolled on a tube and sent them with Barb out to her. When she went out to her sister-in-law lives in Illinois, and she was making a trip out. And I said, have Debbie make this into a quilt. I don't care how she does it. She has designer liberty to put it together however she thinks it's going to work the best. And this is how it came back to me, and I was just thrilled to pieces.
Oh, I'm sure you would be. Yes, it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
very nice.
So I think there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 15 samplers on there.
Yep, that's what I count. Yep.
I believe, yeah, about 15. So see, now you know why I'm samplered out.
Right, right. I was just gonna say, when you get so many samplers, your walls are covered. You move to quilts next. Yes.
That's right.
That's just a great idea, though.
Yeah,
it is.
So I thought it was a great way to, because I don't want my work laying in a drawer, never to be seen again.
Right.
So it's like, let's do something with it. So.
Yep.
And something you can see. It's nice to have it and have them out, and it's just amazing.
Now, do you hang that on the wall, drape it over the couch? What do you do with it so people can see it?
I had it draped over the couch until we got 2 cats.
Oh.
So now it's not draped over the couch.
Okay.
So now, but I want to put a little pocket across the back so I can hang it on the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that came out great. That is just terrific. Wow. Well done. All right. Now we have the stockings.
Aha, those are the Christmas stockings I made for my grandchildren.
And these are full coverage cross stitch, right?
Full coverage cross stitch Heaven and Earth designs. The one with the fox and the squirrel is called First Snow. And the Santa Claus one, that's what it's called. I can't remember.
The detail
But they
you guys
actually,
get, man.
my grandkids actually picked them out. Now they're now 5 and 6 years old. They were 4 and 5. No, they were 3 and 4 when I started them.
Hmm.
And I pulled off a bunch of pictures from Heaven and Earth to say, okay, guys, tell Nana which ones you like. So they picked out which ones they wanted, and I spent a year making the two of them in a year's time.
You made
Whoa.
2 in a year? Okay, I just fell out of my chair.
I was on a mission.
Right,
was on a
so-
mission because I wanted to have, they picked them out right at Christmas time, and I wanted them to have them for the next Christmas. So, yeah.
Wow.
Someone says, 2 people have said that's long winter's nap.
Long winter, yes.
Yeah, Carolyn,
That's what it is.
Teresa.
It was just not coming to my mind at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they were fun. They were really fun to stitch.
Sure are beautiful. Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So they hang them. They've hung them every year now at Christmas time
Yep.
on the fireplace.
Well, it's and those are 2 designs now that they are not a kid design. That throughout their entire life, those will hold up. Yep.
Yep.
Treasure those. Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
did you finish them yourself, or did you send
Yeah.
them to a finisher? Okay.
No, I finished them myself.
Hmm.
I'm not the world's best finisher, but I gave it my best shot.
Did a good job.
Yep. Beautiful.
Looks
I'd
great.
take that. Yep. I'd take it.
Mhm.
All right.
Yep.
Now
I
let's.
wanted them to have something to remember Nana by.
Yeah. Well, that'll do it. That'll do it. All right. Now this one here. So now we get into Beth question territory, diagonal
Yep.
stitching, all these things. So
Yeah.
Yep. This is what I'm working on. It's Once Upon a Time by Heaven and Earth. And I'm making that for my daughter because she is an avid reader. And the saying on it goes something to the effect of once upon a time is something about enchanted, and there's a girl that loves to read. So that's my daughter to the T. So this one will be for her. I'm stitching it on 20 count, the easy grid, the easy side, the gray line.
So it's 20 count? Okay.
One strand, 1/1. And for me, that is I like that coverage. I think it's enough. A lot of people on 20 count would use 2 strands, but I'm happy with 1.
all right. So take us through your setup. So this easy grid cloth, it comes gridded like that already.
Yes.
Is that how it works?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just kind of take us through your setup and how you go about tackling one of these things.
Well, I use Pattern Keeper, world's best app ever. Yeah. And once you have it into Pattern Keeper, you can go into the settings for each particular chart, and you can tell it to put the diagonal lines on for you. So it puts your whole chart together as one big chart rather than multiple pages.
Uh-huh.
You can put your diagonal lines on it. And then what I did on this one is I started in the upper left-hand corner, and I did 10 stitches across the top, and then I worked a triangle. Okay, and I stitched stitch by stitch across the row, and I complete each X as I go. Then I drop down to the next row, move to the left 1 stitch. So that first row is 10, the second row is 9, 8 until you get down to 1. So you have a triangle. and I go stitch by stitch across and then back, and just like snake your way down.
Yeah.
Now, when I do that first triangle, I'll carry my threads back to the top for the second diagonal. And then you do the next set of 10 stitches and work it down the same way, stitch by stitch, and keep snaking back and forth. That's one way to do it.
Okay, but now before you go any further, now a complete dumb guy question here. Why the diagonal? What does that mean? Why even bother?
Why even bother? Well, there are many advantages to stitching on the diagonal. First of all, it reduces, you don't have any ninja stitches because you're stitching each stitch as you go. So you're not having stitches to go back and fill in, because maybe there's an isolated stitch and you don't use that color again for God only knows how many stitches, and then you got another isolated stitch and whatever. So you're filling all of that in as you go. So when you finish that diagonal, it's completely finished. There's no stitches to go back. When you have heavy confetti areas, again, you're doing all of that as you go. It reduces the stress of confetti because you're only looking at 10 stitches. That's all you're looking at. You limit your work to those 10 stitches and you fill them all in as you go along down. You always know where you are. Now, okay, people that stitch cross country, you do here, 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 and you're working all over the place. And what you put it down, you come back 2 days later, you pick it up and you spend a half an hour figuring out where you are. This, you pick it up, you know exactly where you are when you pick it up.
Okay.
Because you're on this row, and then it's you mark that off. You mark off your chart as you go, and you can pick up right exactly where you left off and move right along. I find I make less mistakes because I'm doing one stitch at a time. So I have a lot less mistakes.
Okay.
I think it reduces the bulkiness on the back.
Oh.
Stitching cross country. If you're stitching and you have the same color 5-6 stitches away, people are going to carry to that. Well, when you're working with 15 colors and you're carrying from here to here to here to here to do all those stitches, that back is going to get really bulky and thick. So if you're working one row at a time, you're reducing the bulk.
Yeah.
A lot. The other big issue is, and I have to say, it's not always the case. A lot of people stitch on the diagonal to avoid column lines and page lines. Because I've seen pieces, and I should have sent you a picture of it. Poor woman, I felt so bad for her. On the top part of her piece, you could see every column line.
Oh my.
Every 10 stitches, there was a distinct column line going vertically. She switched to diagonal stitching. There's no column lines at all. There's no diagonal lines. There's nothing. She washed it and pressed it multiple times and cannot get those lines out. She ended up taking it to a framer who won't even touch it to frame it because he said he can't get the lines out.
Oh, jeez.
Which broke my heart for her.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, all that work, and you're going to have a piece that has all these lines in it.
Yeah. And I'm sure
I did mine. I have my first page. You can see the hard line, and I've got the whole top row of pages done, and I've thought about starting again for that reason, because there's I started in cross country to to stop that line, because that's what people said. Oh, go to cross country and you'll blend that line in. And I was like, okay, so that works. But all the stuff I have on the back.
Yeah.
So now I'm thinking, oh, I really need to. I hate to restart this piece after all the thread and time and
Yeah.
spent
Well,
on it. But
but
I
you
might be
know how
better
I look
off.
at that? I look at that as keep going and change the way you're stitching and do it differently, because and my stitcher's retreat is exactly the same way. You can't tell from the front, but turn that over and you can see all the different methods that I tried to figure out what was going to work for me. There's column stitching, there's diagonal stitching, there's cross country stitching, there's a little bit of extreme cross country stitching. It's all there because it's like you got to test it out to find out what works for you. And I look at that as that is an example of the journey that I took to get to where I am today as a stitcher.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm even thinking about when I have it framed, having it framed so that the back shows.
Oh.
Just for that reason. Just exactly for that reason, because then you can see, you can turn it over and you can see the journey. And you can see how, well, maybe it started out here not so good, but look how it got until you got to the end.
Yeah.
A lot of people were asking about the pattern keeper. So it sounds like it's for Android.
Yes.
Correct.
It only is for Android. It's not for iOS at this point in time.
But it's not just for full coverage, correct? You can use it for
Correct.
other large patterns.
Correct. In fact, this last update, it's fabulous. You can now take your pattern, scan it, import it into Pattern Keeper, and apply a grid to it. That's new in the latest update.
Wow.
Which is wonderful. So even if you have a pattern that is 10 pages, you're going to have to scan each one individually and work it like you were working on paper, but you can snap a grid to it. You can't search, but you can at least mark off what you've stitched.
Okay.
So
and
that's
Sandy P wants to know. Okay. Oh, sorry. That's new for.
That's new with this latest update. The latest update came through with a lot of improvements. Personally, I thought it was good already, but it's getting better all the time.
Sandy P, she didn't really ask, but what's column stitching?
Column stitching is when your chart is divided into 10 by 10 grids.
Do we, before you do that, do we see that in the last one here? The
Stitcher's Retreat.
Yeah.
Yeah, because down there at the bottom, I was doing a bit of a column.
Down.
That's my.
On the right-hand side.
A little bit of every kind of stitching on it.
Well, that's why I wanted to go to this, because maybe we could illustrate that. I don't know.
Yeah, if you look at the girl in the blue dress and look underneath there where I'm stitching, I kind of am going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns wide and down to the bottom. So I'm working across 5 columns and working down to the bottom. The column stitching is, you can do it as just 10 stitches wide, 20 stitches wide, however many, and then just work down. If you look, if you go on YouTube and Google and search Carolyn Mazzio, she has an excellent video for stitching in columns, where she completes a 10 by 10 square, parks in the next 10 by 10 square, and works her way down the entire length of either the page or the entire chart, whatever your preference is.
Now, if you were doing this one again, would you do it all diagonal?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. I've wandered into a bit of cross country late, and that's okay. It is much faster than diagonal, but I'm not liking the fact that I have to figure out where I am all the time. I
Uh-huh.
don't like. That is one of the cons when it comes to diagonal stitching, is that it definitely, in my opinion only, it definitely is somewhat slower. And if you're somebody who doesn't like having to rethread your needle all the time, it's probably not something you can do, because it's a lot of rethreading.
Uh-huh.
You know, you're doing 2-3 stitches and you're changing colors and you have to thread the needle again, unless you can come up with a way to keep your needle on, where you can then just pick up that needle and stitch those stitches. And
Yeah.
but I find my thread gets tangled more when I do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a way that I thread the needle, and that's on one of my videos, and I can thread a needle in just seconds and it's no big deal.
Oh, okay. Beth, is your mic brushing on your shirt?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it was me.
Okay.
Okay, so Shelley wants to know, can you explain cross country?
Cross country is when you stitch an area by color. So if you're stitching 3371 and you stitch all of the 3371, say, on a page. Extreme cross country is you stitch 3371 on the whole chart.
Oh, that seems like insanity to me. Oh my.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of people, when they do that, they start with the color that has the most stitches, which
Mm-hmm.
is all well and good. However, when you get down to the one that has the least stitches, you're hunting for a needle in a haystack to find them all.
Yeah. Oh.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh.
Only my opinion. Only my opinion.
Right. Yeah, Naper, I might try doing some random cross country and diagonal, see if I can try it. Doing a little diagonal on my piece, seeing if it blends it in a little better.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I find when there are lines, it's usually a tension issue. You know, part of it is maintaining your tension to be the same. Because if you think about it, I do full cross. I don't go across the row with the color and then come back with that same color. I complete each X as I go. But if you think about it, where your page break is, when you cross the X to go back, you're pulling that thread, say, to the left. Now you're on this page, you're pulling that thread to the right.
Yep.
So that pulls that hole in two different directions, which is probably what's causing your line.
Right. Right.
So tension is important so that that isn't pulled to avoid the line. Now, whether that's just my theory.
Well, I would suggest, almost, even if your tension is good, I would think, given the physics of that, hard to avoid at least having some extra little gap there, because you're pulling two threads in opposite directions. Right. I mean, that's
yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Right. It's amazing to see people who solely do these big full coverage pieces. I can't, but I love how they look. They look so realistic.
Yeah.
Do you know how many colors? How many colors does the stitcher piece have?
88.
88.
total. Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It is. You're right, but I mean, it's just amazing. Every time I see one, the detail, the shading, the depth in those things is just unbelievable. Um, you know, and you think, wow, that's just beautiful as an image, but then you think it's all created with thread, and it really is just stunning. It really is. Um,
Well, and that to me is amazing. It's all done with the colors and the shading, and that's why there is so much confetti stitching,
yeah.
so that you get that depth.
Now, is it
It
when
looks
you?
like a painting.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it does. And if
Yeah.
you look at the top of that Stitcher's Retreat thing, I mean, it if it weren't just hanging there as a piece of cloth, I mean, it is a painting. It's just amazing. Now, talk about starting and ending threads. I assume that all that's done from the front.
Yes, I don't flip.
Yeah.
I don't flip my work if I don't have to. Pin stitch is your friend.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, you can do pin stitch on 25 count. You split those threads.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
go down through the center. So, and I've even done it on 28 count.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So pin stitching is your friend. There's also a method I use, which is a loop start with one strand of floss. And I have videos on that. It is not my invention. I will give credit where credit is due. There's a person on FlossTube, her name is Milesy, and she was trying to come up with a way. And only her way, she has her tail of the thread on the underside.
Uh-huh.
But it's a matter of coming up. Okay, I stitch lower left to upper right is my first stitch.
Mm-hmm.
So if you come up in your upper right corner, go right back down in that upper right corner, come up in the lower left, go through the loop, just like if you're doing a loop start when you have two strands.
Oh, I
go
see it.
through the loop, back down. See it?
Yeah.
And then come up in your lower right, go down in your upper left, and keep on stitching. And you can. So I leave that tail on the top. You can also end the same way. Again, reducing all the bulk on the back of your piece.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a great trick.
Mm-hmm.
Because see, what that, you know, whenever we talk about these kinds of things that I would never do, my mind says, all right, what can we learn from this that we can use elsewhere?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a great one.
I'm sure you could use it you can use it anywhere
Sure.
that you're stitching with one thread. Yeah.
Sure.
Right.
And you can end the same way. Make a loop, make that loop, come up in your opposite corner, go through the loop, go down. Now, when I end, what I do then after I go through the loop and go back down is I'll go a few stitches away and do just a little tacking stitch over an empty thread and then cut my thread off.
Uh-huh.
It helps to give it some extra security.
Sure. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, excellent. Because see, I'll go out, especially on samplers. I mean, I'll go out of my way, go as high a count as I need to go to stitch with one strand because I just don't want to.
Oh.
I don't. It's not worth it to me. Yeah.
Yeah. I dislike stitching with two strands anymore.
Yeah.
I much prefer one strand of floss.
Oh, I got to teach myself that trick. That's a good one. Excellent.
I have a video on it, Gary. Check it out.
Okay. I'll be studying. Yep.
There you go.
Oh, man. Oh, excellent. Oh, here we are. 20 after the hour. We got any more questions, Beth?
Not that I can see.
We're caught
They
up?
pretty much answer. Yep, I think so.
All right.
I hope I answered everything for
I
everybody.
think you did. Okay,
So-
everybody's going back up on the screen here, including you, Beth.
Smile, Beth.
I was looking at the comment.
Well, that was terrific. Thank you. Wow.
Yeah.
See, things were
My
learned.
pleasure.
Things were
My
learned.
pleasure.
Yep.
Make me take my hay back out again. I'll get back at it again.
Okay.
Let
right,
me
Karen.
know if you need help.
Oh, thanks, Karen.
Now,
Yep.
and your website now, or is it YouTube?
YouTube, it's Needlebug,
Okay.
bug with 2 G's, just like my last name.
Okay.
I also stream on Twitch, and there it's Needlebug68.
Okay. All right. So we can find you that way. Excellent.
Mhm,
Well, thank-
either way. If
Yeah.
anybody has questions or needs help, feel free to give me a holler. That's what I'm all about.
Okay. All right, Karen, thanks for the time. Appreciate you doing it. Thanks to everybody for joining us. If you want to be a guest on Friday night, let me know. Gary at WeTalkFiber.com. I was going to say it's right up there at the top, but I took it down. Do that. Send that. Get your emails in for the drawings pronto, because I'm going to go right upstairs and do the drawings. So do it right away. And then Sunday, 2 o'clock, is Karen Dudzinski with Dawn to Dusk. And the Sunday podcast is, good thing I write these things down. I can't remember 10 minutes
Nicola
later.
Jarvis.
Thank you. Thank you, Beth. Nicola Jarvis. And Wednesday, we're going to punch needles. Yes.
Punch.
Yes, we are. All right.
It'll be fun.
That's it. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Karen. Really appreciate it.
Thanks,
You're quite
Karen.
welcome.
Bye.
My pleasure. Bye.
All right. Bye, everybody.